Hi, I'm Warren, and today we're going to be competing in the Kenney Game Jam 2025. Okay, well, the Game Jam actually happened last weekend, but I'm just getting to the commentary now, so we're all just going to pretend like it didn't happen this way, okay? Okay? Shh, it's our little secret. If you don't know what the Kenney Game Jam is, that's okay. I'll break it down for you. A Game Jam is a game-making competition that's usually centered around a short time frame and a few small gimmicks. And Kenney is a guy who makes top-tier game assets and releases them for free, with no strings attached. So go and give Kenney a high five. His website's in the description and here. So when we put the two of those together, Kenney and Game Jam, you get a game-making challenge that lasts 2 days where you have to make a full game using only Kenney game assets that are created by Kenney. There are also a few other rules, like you can use your own sounds and music and stuff like that, but we're just gonna ignore that for now. Yeah. And with that, I'll bring you back to the night of the 19th of July, which is just a little bit before it starts midnight that night. I'm pet sitting for my sister, cozy in bed, and I see that it just hits midnight. So I quickly roll over, I grab my phone, and I see that the theme of the competition is released. I open the link on my phone, and I see that the theme is power. I instantly run upstairs, and I start brainstorming. We're gonna get started tonight, we're gonna get started right now. Instantly, straight away. Okay, fine. Yeah, I was planning to stay up late, but I was fighting having absolutely no motivation at all from failing about 3 projects the week leading up to this. So I was thinking to myself, was it really worth it? So I said to myself, okay, tonight just think about what you can do with the theme. Wake up in the morning and try and make anything. Just choose something super easy and make sure you finish it, okay? So that's exactly what I did. So it's the morning and I still have absolutely no idea what I want to make. I'm looking at Kenney assets for a while and I remind myself of what I came up with the night before. Simple but polished. I finally see the space kit, probably for the 50th time that morning, and I just decide I'll make an asteroids clone. How will I make it fit the theme? Well, I'll just make the spaceship's power drain constantly, and I'll make it refill the power by hitting asteroids and throw in power-ups for the hell of it. What you can see in the background right now is me creating a movement controller for the spaceship, basically. And wow, look at me go, it's working first try. Play the other clip. Yeah. And now let's add some shooting. And then I added the most important thing in a game of asteroids. The asteroids. I'm really sorry about that. That joke wasn't funny in the slightest. At this point, we have the chance to make a major game design decision. This is great. It's probably the first one that I basically had this entire challenge apart from creating the concept itself, but we have to decide whether the camera will be static, and then when the spaceship goes down the bottom, it comes back out the top, like in, I think some Asteroids games and definitely some Snake games. Or we can have a basically infinite world where the camera follows around the player and their spaceship, and we don't have to do any fancy math to move the player like that or anything. So obviously, there's the easy one, which is just strapping the camera to the player. And then there's the hard one where it's doing this stuff. And damn, man, what do you think I am? some sort of lazy fool, someone who doesn't put the work in when it's required, and I always just take the easy route out. Just because I have a small time frame doesn't mean I can't put in the work when it's required. Because you're absolutely right. I'm gonna install Cinemachine. Only use assets created by Kenney. Check. Make the game within 48 hours. Check. Make sure the game fits in the theme of power. Shit. I think it's time to make the game actually fit in with the theme of power. Why don't we do that? So when designing this mechanic, I really should have done it a little bit differently. I made it so it would drain quicker while you're moving. However, this wasn't really noticeable unless you were watching the power bar constantly. And also it just incentivized players not to move around at all and just encouraged them to stay still and wait for stuff to come towards them instead of going out and searching for it. I did come back around during my time to update the mechanic after the jam while I was adding everything I had cut during, and I changed my mind a little bit. I made it drain quicker the longer you survive to increase the difficulty a little bit the longer you play, so every game wouldn't last ages. After that, I added sound, but we're gonna skip over that because I forgot to record the audio while I was making the game. So, yeah. During the same time, I added a background. It was just static for now. However, it added a little visual flair, made it a little bit nicer to look at. You know how it is. And the last part of day one was creating the asteroid spawner. I did this by sampling a few random points on a circle around the player, made the circle big enough to be on the outside of the camera, so you shouldn't see them popping in too often. If you did see them popping in, there's a little nice animation there. Not that important. During this time, I also added the lose state, as well as some particles when the player explodes. So this marks the end of the first day, which fully restored my motivation because I had a fully fledged game. I knew no matter how unsuccessful day 2 was, at the end of it, I'd still have a game that I was able to submit. And that reassurance made me really excited for the upcoming day ahead. It's now the second and final day of the jam. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't record that much. Mainly because, one, a lot of it was just boring stuff, bug fixes and whatnot, and two, I forgot. I started the day with a neat little idea to use the planet pack with the space pack I was already using. That makes sense, right? Planets are in space. Why am I explaining this? I'd already used multiple packs with the UI, so may as well just give up on that. Did I mention there's little extra bonus things you can do? Here they are. Little extra bonus things you can do for, not extra points, extra fun, I guess. I was planning on doing them, but it didn't really turn out. Anyway, it was a very quick addition because I was trying to build each mechanic as modularly and abstractly as possible, not tying them down to a specific purpose. So, with just some minor changes to the spawner code, I was able to add massive planets that really just took up space and acted as a big obstacle if you're moving too fast to get out of the way. So I then decided, why don't I add gravity? So they actually changed the way you fly and play the game when they're around. This was quite literally 3 lines of code and was way easier than I was expecting. With everything out of the way, I was faced with the most ambitious planned mechanic that I really wanted in the game: power-ups. I didn't know where to start. However, Bracky's had a tutorial on it, so I went to have a peek. Didn't really help me out that much, apart from the fact that it reminded me that I can think. I could break it down into its little parts, so that's what I did to add the power-ups to my game. And 2 hours later, I had a working power-up system. Much quicker than I expected. It was great. The way I made it makes it really easy to add new power-ups as long as they alter something that's in this list. All of the data for the changes of a type of power-up are saved in a scriptable object, and then each scriptable object goes into a list of possible power-ups. Then a random one is chosen when a power-up is spawned. I like the way the power-ups are handled, however, it's a little bit more complicated if you want to change something that's not part of the list. But I tried to look ahead and see what you may want to change when you get a power-up. So it wasn't too difficult when I wanted to add in various different items. Some things I didn't record are the following. Creating the power-up, creating the parallax start effect, creating the main menu, creating different types of power-ups, creating different types of rockets, creating the popping in spawn effect, bug testing, bug fixing, adding the starting tutorial, making the score, making the itch page and its graphics, building the game, uploading the game, submitting the game to itch, going to sleep. Overall, I'm really happy with how the game turned out. It feels polished, it looks good, apart from the menus. It has almost every feature that I originally planned from the beginning to have. I was able to keep my scope super, super small and doable to a high standard in the time frame that was given by the jam. And the only thing that I wish I did better was just coming up with a bigger and better idea, a more creative concept. However, looking back at the mental state I was in starting the jam, I think I made the best possible choice all the way through, really. Thank you for watching this far into the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not even halfway there yet, so help a fella out. If you like the video, maybe you'll like the rest of my game jams. They're over here, or you can click something YouTube thinks you'll like. My face. Click that one to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. Yeah.